Okay. Hello, hello. Hello. I see a couple cameras still getting set up. I'll wait a moment. Good to see everyone. Thank you guys for being here. Hope everyone gets some pizza. We got a lot.
We love you, but the pizza's more important.
I mean, nobody does good work on an empty stomach, so. Okay, is everyone all ready to go? Okay, great. Well, first of all, good afternoon, and thank you all for joining us to support the work that we've been organizing to advance charter reforms for the residents of San Diego County. I am so incredibly honored to be surrounded by such a diverse, vibrant, and extraordinary group of community, civic, business, labor, environmental, health, religious, and student leaders who definitely do not always agree on very many issues. I think the folks that I've been working with over the last many months on this endeavor have a wide range of political beliefs. And I think that is a big part of what makes the charter reform work we're doing so important and so special. Because today, this extremely diverse and broad group is coming together for the greater good of the residents of San Diego County. This is the type of nonpartisan solidarity that I think we really need to try to uplift when it comes to modernizing San Diego County's charter for the times we live in today. The folks assembled here today have been instrumental, extraordinary partners. I am so grateful for their insights, their wisdom, the work that they've done to draft the proposal that I will be bringing to the board on April 21st. We would not be here if it wasn't for the work of every single person and the contributions and ideas of all the people here. But that being said, scheduling is difficult. It's hard to get dozens and dozens and dozens of groups and organizations in one place at one time. So I do want to acknowledge that this is only a partial grouping of all the folks who've been so helpful and instrumental in this process. There's a lot of people who could not make it here today. I don't want them to get lost. I don't want them to get their perspective or their voices to get lost. So thank you also to all the people, all the organizations who were not able to make it today. I imagine that they will be at our board meeting on April 21st when this comes to the board for consideration. So with that, we have a number of speakers. We're really going to talk about what charter reform is really all about. At the end of the day, this is going to be a question for voters. This is not something that the Board of Supervisors can decide ourselves. This is up to voters. Only the voters can vote and decide on the Constitution for San Diego County. But what we can do as a board is take community input, take community feedback, and try to put together and put on the ballot a package of charter reform proposals that we believe could better serve our community and make San Diego a stronger, more democratic, more transparent, more accountable place for residents to live. So that's what today is all about. It's about the package that I will be bringing to the Board of Supervisors for consideration on April 21st. And hopefully we will be able to give the voters a choice about how they want to see their county run over the next years and decades. So with that, a huge pleasure and privilege to hand it over to Dr. Kira Green, the Executive Director and Board President of the Center on Policy Initiatives. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dr. Kira Green. That's K-Y-R-A-G-R-E-E-N-E. I'm the Executive Director at the Center on Policy Initiatives. For 30 years, CPI has brought workers and working families together to make local governments and the economy work for San Diego families. In 2008, it was clear that the county government was not working for working families. During the Great Recession, many people lost their jobs and their homes. And while San Diegans suffered and homelessness increased, the San Diego Board of Supervisors put more money into the reserves and focused on building a sports stadium instead of increasing housing and food support. It lit a fire under many of us to fix a broken system so that in the future, when crises hit, we'd have a government that would stand up for San Diegans. Through collective hard work and commitment, we now have a San Diego County government that is stable, experienced, and that cares about the well-being of all San Diegans. But the federal government reminds us every day that we should be looking for ways to make democracy stronger and more functional. All over the country, we are standing up to say that we want a government that is balanced, not one that concentrates too much power in the hands of a single person. We want a government that is qualified, experienced, stable, not agencies where leadership changes constantly and no one, neither residents nor government workers, can be sure what the priorities are from one day to the next. The charter amendment we are proposing is about ensuring that San Diego County never falls into Washington dysfunction. That is why we are proposing, 1, creating an independent ethics commission with the authority to investigate complaints and issue public reports about the behavior of San Diego County elected officials, which will hold elected officials to the same standards as government employees. 2, we are advocating creating a nonpartisan budget analyst who reports to the board and the public. We appreciate the hardworking, honest workers from the CAO to the rest of the county administration. But a good government has checks and balances. The County Board of Supervisors' ability to get independent analysis of budgetary decisions and conditions is a critical check on the bureaucracy. A budget analyst will provide greater transparency and clarity, not just for the board, but also for the public. The county spends billions of dollars each year delivering services and creating new programs. So our third recommendation is an independent program auditor to track the implementation of new programs and to evaluate whether county programs are delivering the results we have been promised. Fourth, we are advocating for stable government through consistent term limits across all county elected officials. We want them to be aligned with the 3-term, 12-year limits that exist for California state legislators. This means extending the Board of Supervisors limits from 2 to 3 terms, which is consistent with other large urban counties in California. This would also mean automatically implementing term limits on the sheriff, district attorney, and other county electeds who currently serve with no term limits at all, but only if state law is amended to grant San Diego County the authority to apply term limits to these officials. And finally, we believe it's important to have a public input and a board confirmation process for appointing key county senior leadership positions. That's to strengthen transparency, accountability, and checks and balances. When someone is hired to manage an agency with hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars of spending power, this should not be something done out of public sight. We, the people, have a right to know who the lead candidate is before they are hired, and the supervisors, who are the people's elected representatives, should partner with the CAO to ensure that highly qualified and ethical candidates are hired. When Chair Lawson-Remer agreed to consider putting forward reforms to strengthen transparency, accountability, and stability in county government, we also agreed that these reforms should be informed by public opinion and refined by a nonpartisan set of leaders in community, civic, faith, labor, and business organizations and agencies. These recommendations are the result of that process. The San Diego Board of Supervisors should allow San Diego voters to tell us in November whether this coalition has gotten it right. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jack McVurry. I used to be city manager a long time ago when dinosaurs roamed the earth. This is not, Kira's done a great job of laying out the reforms that we have been developing with Supervisor Lawson-Remer, who's done a great job of really spearheading this effort. This is not about politics. This is about good government. It's been a long time since the county charter was reviewed, and it's time that we do it now. The county has grown tremendously. It's a much more complex organization than it was 30, 40 years ago. And we believe that this system of reforms will lead to a much more efficient, much more responsive, much more transparent county government. Personally, and that some of the issues that, like term limits, if it had my way, we'd just get rid of term limits. I just think it's an artificial constraint on the democratic process. We looked at the 10 largest counties in California. San Diego County has the most restrictive term limit tenure, 2 terms. There are 3 counties that have 3 terms, and there are 6 counties that have no term limits whatsoever. So we're kind of taking this in baby steps. A 3-term limit, I think, will lead to a much more stable and mature county government. We'll have supervisors that know the county government and aren't going to be forced out arbitrarily after 8 years. I think the other reforms really develop a system of checks and balances that we don't have. Having an independent budget analyst, an independent auditor looking at the performance of programs that the County Board of Supervisors has approved is really smart. And I hear a lot of criticism about some of these reforms that maybe they're politically motivated. They aren't. This is really about good government, again. The other issue I've heard criticism of is having an ethics commission. If people are criticizing having an ethics commission, I'm a little bit skeptical about their motives. This is about reporting campaign contributions, about disclosing those contributions publicly, about timely reporting of campaign contributions, and making sure that the ethical values that have always been part of the county government are enforced through an ethics commission. So I just want to thank Supervisor Lawson-Remer for her effort. We'll be working with her in the future in terms of developing and implementing this effort along with Kira. So thank you.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. My name is Timothy Ross. I'm a secretary for CAL FIRE, Local 2881, District 10, San Diego County Firefighters. We are San Diego County's fire department and represent over 1,000 local firefighters. Public safety depends on transparent decision-making and accountable leadership. Independent oversight helps ensure emergency resources are allocated to where they need to be. This has never been more important than now because California has a year-round fire season. This year we had record-setting heat in March, an early bloom in the desert, and an evaporating snowpack. These reforms can help ensure vital and responsible funding for firefighter positions, training, equipment, new fire engines, and capital replacement for aging fire stations. Thank you. I would like to thank Supervisor Tara Lawson-Remer and the San Diego Board of Supervisors for their continued support of San Diego County Fire with a new helicopter and new positions on the water tenders and our urban search and rescue rigs. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Mel Katz, and I am a business owner in San Diego County and involved in different organizations in San Diego. A strong region requires effective and accountable government leadership. Businesses depend on a stable, transparent, and accountable government institutions. Clear oversight structures build public trust. The San Diego County's charter reform measures, the billboards that you see right over there, do exactly that. It is built on the principles of transparency, accountability, and public participation. These reforms are going to cost no extra money, and they promote open communications and foster trust between the government and the community it serves. The measure calls for term limits of 12 years. These terms are in alignment with our state legislators. It allows the elected officials to develop the expertise and institutional knowledge needed to manage complex, long-term county issues. Ultimately, this measure is a pivotal step towards creating a more inclusive, and effective government model, ensuring that every voice is heard and valued. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ann Middleton. I'm the Associate Director at Wild Coast, and we're a nonprofit organization working at the border for decades trying to solve the pollution crisis. We're a binational organization, and we know how hard it can be to work with governments in Tijuana and Mexico. We believe that protecting coastal ecosystems requires strong and accountable government leadership. When institutions function effectively, communities can better safeguard our natural resources. By prioritizing public protection, we can finally treat the restoration of our watershed as a fundamental right for every resident of San Diego County, including the animals and plants who can't be here today to speak for themselves. So we are really looking forward to this charter and bringing accountability and transparency to the funding at the border crisis so we can finally start to tackle the issue for real and quit playing a blame game. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Crystal Irving, and I'm proud to serve as president of SEIU Local 221, the largest labor union at the County of San Diego, representing about 14,000 workers in this region. We're here today because our members repeatedly express that while elected county leadership has changed to be pro-worker and pro-services to our communities, the culture within the County of San Diego has not changed. Legacy staff who developed under the old county culture and unelected county leadership prevents the County of San Diego workforce from reaching its full potential, despite the directives and leadership of the new supervisors on the board. We need a change to ensure that the county rules are clear and that the system is transparent. Residents and workers who provide vital services both benefit when decision-making is transparent and responsibilities are clearly defined. A strong charter makes sure that the County of San Diego is a good steward of public resources, using them most effectively to serve families throughout our region. And this is why we are supporting this charter reform package. County services depend on strong, visionary, proactive, and responsive leadership, which is why aligning supervisor term limits with other local offices strengthens stability and accountability in county government. Now, when I began working for the County of San Diego as a protective services worker in 2013, there were supervisors sitting on that board who had been in those positions literally as long as I had been alive, and that was about 7 terms. This led to supervisors being disconnected from the problems of our employees and the communities that they were elected to serve. So the passage of strict term limits paved the way for a new generation of leadership at the County of San Diego. Now, many stakeholders say that term limits should align with the state legislature at 12 years. And refining term limits will allow the necessary time for board members to learn how to navigate this bureaucracy and ensure that policies to serve the community actually get implemented. This charter reform package also strengthens independent ethics standards, audits, and budget oversight. Independent oversight, like program auditor, ensures that public programs are delivering on what we promise to families in San Diego, and making sure that the public services that our workers provide are more targeted and effective. It also ensures that the same high ethical standards of our county workers follow also clearly apply to elected leaders. We believe that these changes will not only build trust for workers that SEIU 221 represents, the ones who show up every day to deliver these county services, but it'll also build trust in our communities that our members get to serve every day. So this charter reform package will help to build a county culture that delivers quality services to residents and supports the workers who provide them. And we look forward to actualizing that day for the people of the County of San Diego and being a good model of what good county governance can look like for the rest of our state and the nation. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ramon Chaires. I'm here representing the Tijuana River Coalition. Our communities that reside alongside the Tijuana River know what it is to live and bear the inescapable daily impacts of toxic sewage and industrial waste, making this one of the most urgent environmental and public health crises in the country. I want to thank all our county supervisors, especially Supervisor Aguirre, for recognizing the scale and severity of this crisis and taking decisive action over the past year. That leadership really matters. For too long, there has been uncertainty about the health impacts, about who is responsible, about how to actually move solutions forward. That uncertainty has left behind communities that face the brunt of this emergency. This charter reform is a bold step into the 21st century. It strengthens independent oversight, improves transparency, leverages institutional knowledge, and creates real accountability for the long-standing issues like the Tijuana River pollution crisis. From my experience working alongside communities, we need both accountability and continuity. Independent auditors to track progress and experienced leadership to see solutions through. With a stronger, more effective county government, we can continue building the momentum needed to address the foreseeable challenges in the Tijuana River watershed and support our hundreds of thousands of constituents in the South Bay. In closing, I want to thank Supervisor Tara Lawson for her unwavering leadership and how she shows up every day for our region. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Erica Castillo. I'm the Advocacy Co-Chair at Business for Good, and I'm a small business owner. Businesses depend on stable, transparent, and accountable government institutions. As an equity-focused business chamber, Business for Good endorses this charter reform because it builds a more equitable San Diego. By increasing the county's budget transparency and institutionalizing independent budget analysis, this reform ensures that county services and resources are managed with integrity. More importantly, it shifts the balance of power back to the people, giving voters the final say on how their county should be governed. By doing so, this charter reform straightens the governance structures that support public confidence and economic stability through rigorous independent program evaluation. This clear accountability ensures county decisions reflect the long-term goals of our region, delivering the strong, transparent institutions necessary to benefit local businesses, workers, and the diverse communities we serve. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Samar Ismail, S-A-M-A-R, Ismail, I-S-M-A-I-L. And I am happy to be joining you today. I am a first-generation American-Palestinian student, graduate of UCSD, and I am the first of my kind to be joining the dual program between SDSU and USD in Masters of Public Admin and Law School. And it is my honor to have been asked to do the research to put forth such an amazing initiative. And through our research, we found out, of course, America's finest city with a population of roughly 3.3 million and a budget of over $8 billion is the only one out of the top 3 counties to have a term limit and is the one with the most restrictive term limits. With this kind of proposal, it's necessary for us to be able to advance the initiatives that our community really needs to see. And with this institutional knowledge that has been built up over time, to be able to carry out the demands that the community truly needs. Additionally, we talk about these audits, right? And a value that I hold and the community holds is access, that regardless of if you have an MPA or what you know about public administration, you are able to be informed and civically engaged. These auditors will have the responsibility to make sure that every single constituent has access to what is happening at the county level. And with an initiative like this, we will see even better governance. After all, we always have, as San Diego County, been leaders in many different things. So this is a great step to match all the progress that we've already made. So thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ana Ramos Ontiveros. I'm a community organizer with ACE, the Alliance of Californians for Community Empowerment. And we are a statewide, multi-issue grassroots organization fighting for social, racial, and economic justice. We are member-led, which means our members don't just set our priorities, they lead the fight. Working class families across the country and right here in San Diego are facing a housing affordability crisis unlike anything we have seen before. While greedy billionaires continue to make record profits, our community struggles day by day to afford rising rents, utility bills, and gas prices. And as wars and violence continue abroad, those costs only grow heavier. People are tired. People are exhausted. And they are done with elected officials who disregard the rule of law and erode our democracy. But here's what we know. When people come together, when communities organize and refuse to be ignored, institutions have no choice but to change. History has shown us time and time again that real power does not come from the top down. It is built from the ground up by ordinary people like you and I demanding what they are owed. We are no strangers to bureaucratic red tape, but with the establishment of the program independent auditor and the Independent Ethics Commission, we can hold elected officials accountable, ensuring that county resources and programs serve all people, not just the wealthy. This is why we stand here today in support of these much-needed reforms to our county charter. This is a step in the right direction, a step towards returning power to working people and restoring the democracy that they are owed. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon. It's already afternoon. My name is Max Disposti, and I am a nonprofit executive LGBT leaders in the region and a commissioner for the City Oceanside, the Community Relations Commission. Today, I stand here in support of the proposed reforms introduced by the Office of Supervisor Tara Lawson-Remer, and I do so for a variety of reasons, but these that follow are the most important to me and the community that we serve. In a time where conversations around accountability matters, let's make sure the biggest government in the region with over $8 billion in budget can follow through with actions and not just promises and lead the way with systemic change. A systemic reform is needed for different reasons, but one above all is to bring transparency to the budget process, not at the end of it, but at the very beginning of the process by allowing a nonpartisan independent budget analyst to report to the board and to the public. Many of us that have advocated for years for better investment in our communities, and despite the many years of experience and years of advocacy, and knowledge of the process, the annual budget has always been a daunting task to understand and fight for. Often the budget process has precluded transparencies where even the newly elected supervisor have admitted the challenge of a journey where too often we have defranchised our most vulnerable communities by alienating them from the conversation. An independent budget analysis report to the public will remove partisan interpretation and expose the facts of our county investments. Additionally, an independent ethics committee with authority over elected officials will prevent unethical activities and conflicts of interest before they occur and not after the fact when the damage is already done. In short, we want the county to stand by the same standards of accountability it expects and impose on its own contractors and grant awardees to bring back trust, strengthening transparency, and renewed accountability. It is time for a change so that the county does not continue to operate with the same systemic cultural disparities and priorities of several decades ago. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon. My name is Marco Briones. I'm the political director of the San Diego and Imperial Counties Labor Council. We proudly represent over 100 unions and 200,000 working families in our region. And we're here today because we believe that modernizing the county charter ensures transparent and accountable leadership, delivering the kind of county government that workers and working families can rely on for fair, and effective public services. We at the Labor Council have advocated in the recent past when it comes time to hire some of the most important roles in this office. For example, the Chief Administrative Officer would interact with our workers, a role that we take very seriously, and the community deserves to have a voice when it comes time to hire for these important roles. Our members are from their communities. They are the communities. A more accountable county government helps ensure that policies serve the entire community, not just narrow interests. Union workers pride ourselves in delivering on time and under budget, so we believe an independent oversight, like a program auditor, would help ensure resources are used effectively and not wasted. These are just a few of the reasons we're proud to stand with this coalition of community members and leaders working towards a better county for all San Diegans. I want to thank Chair Tara Lawson-Remer for this, and we stand in strong support. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Wendy Galernter. I'm the leader of the group Take Action San Diego, which is a chapter of Indivisible and also of Swing Left. As one of the organizers for San Diego's No Kings rallies, we mobilize people to stand up to the corruption and the lawlessness and the cruelty of the Trump administration. But we also work to build something better, a democracy where government works for all of the people and not just for the powerful few. And that's why we support this long overdue reform package, an ethics commission that has teeth, a budget analyst who answers to the public, and an independent auditor to measure results. It also establishes term limits, not just for supervisors, but also for offices that have none, such as the sheriff and the district attorney. And it adds public oversight to key leadership appointments so power isn't concentrated behind closed doors. And it does all of this with no additional cost to taxpayers. When government loses focus on the people, accountability breaks down and people lose trust in their government. We're seeing that in Washington today. But in San Diego, we can do better. We can hold our public servants accountable and make the county work for everyone. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Daniel Negrete, and I'm a student with the Student Civil Liberties Union. In a county with over 200,000 college students, a voice should not only be a right, but a guarantee. Encouraging voter turnout and civic engagement is meaningless when the system prioritizes lobbyists and corporate interest. And it's exactly why a charter reform is necessary. Students in our universities are an economic engine, driving over $30 billion in annual impact for this region. We aren't just a demographic for the future. We are 10% of the residents paying into the system today. Yet we have zero formal sway over how the county budget works. True accountability cannot solely include transparency, but oversight as well. Right now, systems like the RGIS Fusion Center allow the county to share and sell our data to federal agencies like Border Patrol with almost no formal review. For years, the Urban Areas Working Group met with no transparency, deciding how funds can be used to fund initiatives for mass surveillance and chilling of speech. Practices like these cannot continue. I'm here to support the new charter reform, but also make it clear that a modernization that serves the people requires an equitable composition. It would require including student leaders within the implementation task force. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. I don't want to speak too long because I know we've had lots and lots of speakers here today. I just would like to begin by thanking all the people who've been part of this process. It's been a very interesting, fruitful, long process of trying to figure out what our biggest priorities are and how we can come together to present some options and choices to voters. This is an incredibly thoughtful, visionary group of leaders from across our region. These are organizations and individuals who often come to the table with very different issues, very, very different perspectives, very different priorities, but I think united behind a common concern and common set of priorities that it is vital that we have a transparent, accountable, stable, modern county government to best be able to respond to the urgent needs of San Diegans, whether that be on housing or healthcare or fire safety, public safety, across the board. The folks assembled here today are working on critical issues facing our community, and they all know how important it is that county government works in order for these vital services and vital functions to be delivered to San Diego County residents. So again, thank you all so much for being here. This proposal that has been put together by this broad and diverse set of stakeholders will be presented to the Board of Supervisors for consideration on April 21st. After that reading, there'll have to be a second reading of that ordinance. Once it's voted on twice by the board, then it would go to the voters to decide whether they want or not to update our county charter. I'd also just would like to note that part of the proposal that's being brought to the board is to include a charter implementation task force so that we can really have broad community input as we hammer out a lot of the details, if this charter reform was to pass, of how this charter reform would be implemented. And I will be nominating Dr. Kara Green and Jack McGrory to help lead that working group and that task force. So thank you again for all of you for being here, and floor is open for questions. And if there aren't questions, we can also do one-on-ones after. Please feel free with all the folks here. Yeah. Spanish speakers, ¿puedo hablar un poquito? ¿Sobre qué? Exactamente. Sí, está bien. Okay. Anyone else want to speak in Spanish? Reeser, you can kind of join us after. No? Okay. Ramon will join us as well. Yeah, okay, so myself and Ramon. Any other questions? Okay, I do encourage one-on-ones with all the folks assembled, and, oh, go ahead.
Can I get all our speakers and all our community advocates up to the front for a quick group picture, please? Thank you so much.